Hello,
Hey, Steve.
how's it going?
Going good. Yeah, I think last week when we met, we were going to play Tron and say, hey, Monday's a vacation day, so we will not be meeting. But I like you enforcing some discipline and saying, let's meet today. So it's a good idea.
Yeah, I actually didn't see that, but I just, in fact, the internal meeting for how we're progressing in Azure is going on right now, but I wanted to make sure this was a priority because, well, we're at the end of the month and I'm guessing we didn't hit the RC1 date. So,
No, actually, yeah, that's what we were discussing. There were some topics which were left standing. But yeah, I think let's wait on some others to join. And we had, David and I had created an issue for you to look at to add more permissions for people and more groups. So maybe you can talk about that today as well.
yeah, absolutely. We keep on talking about like if we want to add more people, we just need to make sure it's balanced and we should definitely scale it out.
Yeah, and I think we added the names and all. I think it's a good list. We can look at it again today.
Sounds good. I did, wait, David, remind me. No, I added you to the notation one. We didn't do anything on notary yet. Okay. Hey, Feynman, welcome.
Hey, Steve. First time to see your face in our meeting.
It's
That's
good to
pretty
meet
nice.
you.
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
And I
Just
just
needing a
finished.
haircut.
It looks good. I just
Yeah.
finished my Singapore meeting with David. So we jumped from the last meeting to here.
Sweet. Perfect.
Hey, Steve. Nice to see you back.
Hey, Melinda, how you doing? Nice to be back. It was nice to take some time off. Nice to do KubeCon. It was very good. Other than masks, it was like it felt like normal again. And I don't minimize the mask part, but the last KubeCon that we had in the middle of was it in the US? I forgot now, but it still had a feel of COVID going on. So this, like I said, the masks were still there, but there was still lots of engagement, dinners, drinks, healthy conversations, challenging conversations. So that was super positive to start to get that three-dimensional engagement going again.
Do we have the recording available?
It'll post next Monday.
Okay.
You have the ones that I did for my normal rehearsals, but the official one will post on the 6th is what the KubeCon folks said.
Okay. Gonna wait for Roy and Shive. Does anybody know if I think Shive should join?
Let me ping Shui. I think he knows this
Okay.
meeting.
He might be in conflict on the other meeting, to be fair, but we think we need him here. It's a tear. So, Feynman, have you been able to engage with him enough to represent where he's at, or so you guys can divide and conquer between the two meetings?
Sorry.
Well, he's probably on our internal status meeting because
ORAS.
yeah,
Oh,
we have the ORAS and notary conversations at the same time because this is one of
Okay.
those overlapping Shanghai Redmond times, which
Yeah.
unfortunately we clobbered on top with this meeting, which is fine. Like I prioritize this one. Let me ping.
Yeah. If you can, I think for signature spec feedback, I need his specific feedback. Same for Roy.
Roy said he was going to join.
Mind if I add everybody to the attendee list?
Yeah, if you don't mind helping there, that'd be great. As we all multitask. Let me make sure Roy's got the.
Turn my camera off. It slows down.
Oh, there it is. Nope. And I think Roy mentioned there was some topic or some issue that you guys wanted me to take a look at? And I lost track of that.
I think those were probably from the planning. We could do that on Thursday. Samir, do you remember? I think they were mostly scoping.
No, there were two issues which I think you had marked for RC1, and we were saying, hey, they don't belong in RC1 based on discussion we had. So yeah, I can,
All right.
and we can talk about them, yeah.
Excuse me. I'm just gonna take a minute to get water. I'll be back.
Okay.
And somehow,
So
Nope.
Shiwei is not in the other meeting. I just checked.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, the one thing I had was just relating to the release for the notation client. I posted that last Thursday at 4:30, which was kind of the follow-up after our last on cutting a new release. I think I mean that's pretty important. There was a blocker for that on another issue where we needed an actual release of the notation client. And then for us updating our Azure documentation for the PR that I have up there, like we need a new release. And like I think there's 5 PRs there, one of which is already approved. The other 3 of those are dependency updates, and the other one's like a really small PR. And I mean, it's not like we have to wait on those things. It just seemed like it just seemed like a minimal risk thing if we can just merge those and then just cut the release.
So Samir, you had a question on, was it this one? You had a question on the login work? I don't see that on this one. I'm looking at 182 notation.
Notation 182, let me bring it up. Actually, let me share my screen that way.
Okay, that'd be great.
Look at.
But I think it would have been awesome if we had RC1 done, but it's not. So cutting this release sounds great. And then we could kind of like make sure we're comfortable with
Yeah.
RC.
I think we are close, but let's. So you said something is in notation, okay?
Notation issue 180. Let me just paste it here. 182.
Mhm.
Okay, where'd my chat went to go?
Oh, I'm gonna cheat with a URL hack.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the issue we created, saying, hey, let's get the notation client out with. Some
Where
of the-
did you ask for the ORA's login stuff to be merged? I remember seeing that because I was not being as disciplined to not be online on vacation. So
Yeah, there was an ORAS issue. Is that you're asking for the ORAS issue number? Is that what you're asking?
no, I thought it was notation. That's what I'm saying. I thought you had
No,
said that
yeah.
we want to cut the release, but you wanted the login stuff to be incorporated.
Correct. Yeah.
The login stuff is already in there. Shiva implemented, I think, back in
I'm in a new
January or
meeting, but
February. We just didn't release it yet.
Okay,
Hey,
So-
Jesse.
what do we need to cut this release? Is everybody okay with it?
So the 180, is that a critical dependency? I'm fine on not having the 180 being blocked on 180.
Oh, I see. David added a bunch of links.
Yeah, I added. I don't want to block us waiting for somebody to approve these. I guess it just seemed to me like very minimal changes that we should just merge right now anyway. But yeah, if we're going to wait another week to approve a version update, then yeah, let's just go ahead and cut the release. I don't like the Go releaser, for instance. I looked at that one. That doesn't impact even the product. It impacts the release of the thing to the website. So why doesn't somebody just merge that, right? I don't.
Sorry, why don't we just work through these each? So.
Yeah, so like one,
Like
yeah,
180?
like 178, it's not a holdup to do a release, but it doesn't even, it
It's
doesn't,
not
it
hard
doesn't.
work. Okay, hold
it's-
on. Let's just do this real quick. So this one is. Oh, that's a no-brainer. Like, yeah, okay, right? Am I missing something here? Hold on, this is go release action. Is there any concerns about this one?
Which one are you looking at?
178, sorry.
Sorry, let me bring it up here. Oh.
Here we go.
I don't know nothing about it.
I mean, that's what I looked at it. It's the thing that does the releases of the product. And so since we're doing a release, it would be a way we could also test the release using the new version of Go Releaser, but it doesn't actually impact the product, the notation CLI
If you
itself.
can go to the files changed, I'll show you the diff. Okay.
Okay, so the answer is good to go on this one. So let's go back here.
If somebody just wants, if somebody from AWS can just LGTM it, I'll merge it, just so it's not just.
I'll approve it.
And what about the other three? I'm good with the other.
We'll go through it. Let's not bounce around. Let's just go through them methodically because we might be able to just
Okay.
chunk through these. I mean, go take a look at it if you want, but I'm just waiting for,
I approved it.
okay.
178.
That's now I just gotta do with this. Why doesn't GitHub make this easier for all the, this one's actually not too bad. Okay. Done.
Awesome.
So that's 178 is. Okay, so somebody checked that, great. What about, well, okay, 180, is there, that one also got approved by a bunch of people. Kim, Melind, you approved it. Is there any other holdup on this one?
Yeah, there's another PR because there's a build failure. I wouldn't block on this one.
But what's the build? I see the build failure. Is that be,
There's another PR on notation core go to fix the build failure.
Oh, we need
Yeah.
to bring it in as well. You're saying we have to bring this one?
No, I don't think so, unless
that
somebody says
177?
it's required.
no,
So should we
that's not-
just
no, it's not.
go ahead and merge that one too?
Which one?
The one that's.
Oh, no, sorry, paste that. Sorry, let me catch up. So that's GitHub Notary notation, core.
This one I would
Three?
hold off on.
Okay.
I don't think we'll merge it right away.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's not look at this one.
No.
All right, so are we okay with merging 180 and we're gonna fix this? What's the build break? How does that get fixed?
If you go to files change.
Okay, let me go to files changed. So we're here on 180, files changed is what I'm clicking.
No, sorry, on the other one, the last tab.
The last tab. Oh, you
Yeah.
mean this one.
Yeah, so it fixes the package name and some refactoring, but I think there'll be some feedback on this. I wouldn't expect this to be done right away.
Okay.
But is this the thing that's unblocking the build failure?
Yeah, that is right.
Okay.
Both of those are not blocking, is my understanding.
So we.
Let's
so
go to
again,
the
I've been
next
out for a
one.
couple of weeks, so tell me that I'm not just out of sync. Are we at a point where we feel that the tests are in good shape and we should block builds, like we should fix the build breaks before approving, or are the CI
It's a
builds
build.
not-
It's a build break on the PR. The mainline builds are not failing.
Yeah, so like I said, I made this assumption on 180 that it was an easy one. If it's now breaking the build, and we don't want to wait to merge the one that fixes it to then fix that, then that's fine. I don't
Yeah.
want to, I mean, it's not essential. The 180 is not essential to merge for the notation client itself, I don't think. So I agree that we can wait on this if it's going to be a delay.
Okay, so I'm saying holding on, I'm making some notes here, holding on 180 as we don't want to break the CI, automated CI. And we're not quite ready to merge notation core 3.
Great. Notation core go 3. Yeah, notation
Yeah,
core.
sorry. Yes, thank you. Okay, so comment. Okay, so that is 180. What about 184?
184. This is a bump, right?
Yeah,
We open it up here. Dylan, if you want to have a look at it.
depend a bump.
Files changed.
I mean, build is successful. I'm not totally aware on like how much testing coverage we have to take bumps, dependency bumps confidently. I'll go ahead and approve this.
Well, it's one way to find out. It's not like it's an RC.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we want to say 184 is in. Okay, let me click on this one then.
Okay, and I approved 177 too. That was the last one.
So, all right, so we're merging 184. Did we, who else? Okay, so Milind, okay, good enough.
Okay,
So the only one is 180, and David, I'm just gonna edit your one and just put this text that I put in there.
okay.
Cool. Awesome. So then, yeah, I guess then it's just a matter of the version number we want to call it. I propose 090. I know that kind of jumps from 07 to 0, 09, but I know there's a lot of stuff in there. And then this kind of comes back to the versioning. Do we want to just keep maintaining just totally different version numbers, or do we care at all?
We did have a doc where we wrote this
Because
down.
the notation go and the notation core go, right? I mean, ideally there's, and you don't necessarily have to tie them, but at least my gut is where we're at right now. It does make sense because the notation core go and the notation go is changing where things are getting extracted and moved, and so if the version numbers are the same, there is a logical, like, these work together.
They may
type
not
of-
scale for the long term, but you're saying for now, because
Yeah.
we haven't stabilized compatibility, we might as well keep the versions to know what is compatible.
That was
sounds
my,
good, David.
yeah, I mean, that was my logic anyway. Yep.
Yeah. So do you want to just put a comment on what you want to see the version?
I did, yeah. That was above the one that has all the
Oh, I
PRs.
see. I propose version 1. Okay. You're a release, are you a release manager on this now?
I am, yeah. So I could cut the release. I mean, because at this point, we've done the official, Samir's done the official on this release issue. So now it's just, at this point, it would just be cutting the release since we've merged all this.
So-
And that is just, using the Go releaser. So I would just add a tag and then it should fire up.
So David, do you mind just, updating it to reflect that, where's my chat? There, the template we have in this 104. So basically decide on the commit, cut a branch. Basically, it's just the steps to actually do it. If you want to just add it to the end, and then we'll do, the end of, what is it, number 182. Then we basically have the steps we said we want to do for cutting a release.
I think it almost feels like almost just modifying the issue that we have.
Yeah, I can do that.
That was that 182 looks like that, and the intention was what 104 is.
Yep.
So do we just need to?
I'll just edit it.
Yep, that's fine.
And I think we've already kind of covered all of those checkpoints minus, I guess we need to update the README.
And let me just get the version number. So
So we need, I'm just going to look to see what do we need to update in the README.
maybe.
Oh, the README has,
README happens afterwards.
yeah, the README has a specific version. So, so we would need to, yeah, we'd need to just
So-
do a PR with the README version update and then tag that.
So do we have a, are we saying what's in main right now? Because we can create the commit. If we think are we cutting with what's in release right in main right now is my question.
Yes, minus it looks like per that issue note, that's the only thing that flagged my attention is that there is one spot on the README that has the specific version number. So we would need one more PR to update the version number that's on the home README. I think that's all that's changed in the README. A quick look, that seems to be the only thing we need, I think.
Where are you in README on release management or?
Well, you know, if you look at the 104, it has the fourth checkbox update README markdown. I'm assuming that's the homepage markdown, and that would make sense because in the install the notation CLI, it has a hard-coded version number there. So if we don't do anything and we cut 090, people will still download the 071 alpha release if they copy paste that.
I got you.
So basically, yeah, I mean, we should probably either update the README so it permanently just downloads the latest release, or just update it to, for now, to be 090 and then release it with that.
So I'm doing it. I'm actually just doing it now. It's become more. I got the README. So here, let me just share my screen.
Sorry, Steve, to interrupt. We have agenda items to cover, and I think I was waiting for Shiva to join.
Oh, okay.
Get started with the agenda items. We are like almost 25 minutes through.
Okay, yep. Okay, well, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, and I think we can move forward.
Yeah, okay. Could we check again if Shiva will be able to join? Roy is here, so I can cover some of the signature spec update feedback.
Sorry about that. I had network problems.
That was the first item pinged it in the chat. Let me do a screen share too. Give me a second. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can actually.
All right, so I addressed a bunch of feedback on this. I wanted to check with you, Roy, if there was anything else from your feedback that needed to be addressed. I think I've resolved most of your comments.
I think you did too. As I didn't see much in there that didn't get already addressed by you.
Okay, so I was waiting for an approval from you, Shiva.
Yeah. So let me.
At least.
That was my mistake. Let me go fix that.
And then Steve, were you able to ping Shiva? Would he be joining? Basically want to get
Still
this
showed,
unblocked
he
because
still showed offline. I'm sorry.
okay, we have an implementation blocked on this spec being in, so just that is the reason I'm pushing for this. I can follow up with him offline on that.
Feynman, are you in Shanghai?
I'm in Beijing. Yeah.
Ah, okay, but I don't know. Okay, I don't know if he's getting tested or something. So he's not showing online. So yeah, if you just want to ping him.
I'll ping him. Yeah, I'll ping him.
Yeah, I will let you know.
The second and third, I'll get to the third first. We had some of Kim's bandwidth for code review. So for example, when
Not anymore.
Rakesh, yeah, so I'm looking for, because our code review processes, we require, we said we haven't like written it down yet, but we wanted code reviews both from Amazon and Microsoft. So I want either Shive or somebody else. Shive would be the most appropriate, but that's more kind of the, I'm looking for some commitment there on some of his bandwidth for review. Otherwise, we'll be like PRs will just get blocked this week.
So Kim's on vacation getting married. For
Yep,
the
I
next
know.
3 weeks. Or
Yeah,
so,
I know.
so.
I know he's out for a month or so. So
Yeah.
so we need.
He was
review
actually
bandwidth.
commenting this weekend. I wanted to go back and go like, dude, you're on vacation. Go.
He's going to start hiking Peru of all the places. It's like
Nice.
you go from Spain to Peru.
I'm going to transition for I need to go somewhere. So I'm just going to transition to headset. Listening.
So the ask was like, hey, can we get Shive's bandwidth for reviews? If not Shive, somebody else on his team.
I think it's fair.
Should be able to.
Okay,
I
all
think
right.
I think Finman, if you can take point on that, would be great. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Because yeah, I think
PR.
easier for time zones and all.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
What's that smell?
You should hire somebody here. It sounds like
I'm in a meeting. I'll talk to you later.
Who's the adorable voice?
he's our new programmer.
That's my 4-year-old daughter. Oh my God, she's not gonna leave me now. Give me a second.
But Melinda, what is that smell? I mean, we all want to know now. Is it an electrical fire? Is it dinner?
You guys are not helping.
I have to contribute every now and then.
You guys are just plain mean.
All right. I have no idea what was going on. All right. Next item, I just wanted to call out. We don't have the proper code review process documented yet, but just wanted to call out, like, for example, this PR, we like ideally Shive should have also had feedback here or another code review from Microsoft before we merge it in. I think for most PRs, we have been following process, just calling out an exception here. This is one of Kim's PR.
Yes.
So like I ideally, like there's just one review from me and then merge from Steve, whereas we'll also require a code review from Shive or another engineer that does the code review and then gives an approach. And I think we've been trying to formalize this more. Steve, in your absence, I think last week we said we want to create some maintainer groups for Notation Go and all of the implementation. So notation, notation core, go, and notation go have like me and Shiva in the maintainers group, or maybe a code approvers group, so that we can formalize the workflow better.
Makes total sense. We can definitely do that. And I'd rather not, just for simplicity, the way we did it was there was ability to have subgroups. So there's notation, and then there's tough notation or something. So unless somebody objects, I'm fine doing notation and notation go core together. So just send me the names and I'll add it.
Okay, and if we can, will you be able to like prioritize that? I don't know, like tomorrow or day after. Like what's been happening is many of the PRs get ready for merge. Then I'm either waiting for either you or Niaz to merge them. I just want to make that workflow, unblock that
No, I'm
workflow
back.
as soon as possible.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm running out right now, but I will do it tomorrow.
Cool. Let's see, what is the next item? Next one is by Rakesh. Review spec updates. I think I'll just project for them.
So last week, Milind and I went through the public spreadsheet, and we see some spec items here, like the line number 9, 10, and also 12 and 13. We wanted to check what is the update there, because those items are going to block us after some time. So I just want to bring them up and see where we are
That's
on those.
typed up the signing command spec. I thought it was on the help from the text. Wasn't that, Steve, what you did?
Looking for the button. That's something I did before I left for KubeCon, and I haven't looked at it since. So is there something else? The only thing I remember is just having this conversation of usability and security. And I did write a quick discussion to cover that topic, but
This
I don't
one
know if there's
was,
another action item.
yeah, these ones are signing command spec and the verification command spec.
Yeah. So what do
Go ahead.
I was saying, what do we need? I'm not looking at the screen. Sorry.
It says
So
here,
we,
you need
so
help
we-
strings for with what the switches do, and
we want to document for RC1 what are the exact set of parameters, parameter names, and combinations for sign and verify command.
Yeah, I think my thought is for RC1 at this point, we just need 3 commands: sign, verify, and inspect. Everything else, I think we can defer from a command perspective. Keeps things simple.
So other commands are already implemented and in different stages. Like for example, we have, I think, plugin list. I've told my stance on this previously. The core commands that we are looking for is sign and verify. I think inspect also we have discussed about it. There are other commands that got updated as people are implementing, and it's fine to keep those as long as the user experience is coherent and like doesn't clash with other stuff. And like, for example, we have cert, add cert, which we said we'll remove because that is not what we have in the covered in the spec based on the trust policy trust store. But like those are a separate discussion. For sign and verify, we at least want to document exactly what parameters we have. And like once we have an initial, like it could be as simple as just take the RC1 version, look at the help or switches that it supports, and document that. That could be the version 1, and then we can debate about if any of that needs to change or it's good as is.
So I'm just trying to follow a little bit. So there is some variance that's happened since that was done because Kim did some work to clean it up, basically as he was updating the plugin spec or the plugin implementation work. The question, I guess, is, are we writing this one to outline what the code would be? Or do we want to write the code and then we need to figure out how to document the code? I'm just trying to understand the ordering of what we're trying to
It
accomplish.
should ideally be the other way around, right? So somebody defines the user experience and then implementers go ahead and implement that. Right now, we have kind of implementation running ahead of this. So implementers are kind of assuming and like implementing the best possible thing that they could based on some examples and spec, etc. But we haven't taken a proper look from a product perspective. Is that the correct CLI experience?
Gotcha. So what I might suggest is this. What if we merge what's currently there, that one PR, and then we do PRs on top of that for the changes we want to make, including the change that Kim has already implemented. And then what you can do is, that's our baseline. And then for any new commands, we create a PR specifically for that command and whatever parameters. But we're not trying to do a boil the ocean thing where we have every CLI command in one PR.
So right now the version that you published just has the top level commands. And I think that there was some feedback there. We can look towards closing that. But I just wanted to like highlight the sign and verify are the more important ones there. And you are the owner for both of these items.
Fair. I'm struggling on the bandwidth I'm going to have to be realistic about it. That's why I'm struggling a little bit. So if we made it more granular, I can try to do it tomorrow. So why don't we do that as a tentative? And if we can take a reality check on it.
All right, and again, like we want to, even if we are not able to get the overall list, I'm okay with that. We can figure that out at a slower pace. The sign and verify kind of need to be crystallized as soon as possible.
Totally agree.
All right. The other ones were.
I just talked to
Mine-
Shiwei and he's off this morning. He's gonna give me an estimate for when he can sign off on Kim's pull request.
Okay, no, that was my PR on the signature spec.
That you wanted Kim, that you wanted Shiwei to sign off on?
Yeah, he had some recent comments that I addressed over the last few days. And then the other was, I think we'll have to follow up with Shiwei for this. 12 and 13. The spec for signing with local key. I'll follow up on this, but again, we are right now, like this will be blocking for number 19, which is the end-to-end signing workflow.
So this should ORS generate the manifest.
Yeah, so that is the end-to-end signing workflow. But one of the steps, that step 3, is decrypt the key, decrypt the local key, and the line item 12 is what defines what will be used there. I'll follow up separately with Shiva on this. For the registry authentication, so we have we'll cut a release. I think we'll be able to test the.
Shiwei also says he has a pull request out there, Melinda, that you guys need to sign off on too.
Yeah, that is the directory section. I'm aware of.
He said he'll do yours today. So pressure's on for you to do his.
All right, sounds good. Rakesh, what else did we want to cover from this spreadsheet? Rakesh, you're on mute.
Sorry. Okay, I think those are the updates we needed on lines 9, 10, and 12, 13. But apart from that, we started marking the items that are done, like the green one you see, number 11, that is done, and also we marked few other items that are completed. So going forward, if any task is done, please do mark it green. I think that's all on this agenda item.
Cool. At a high level, I think it would have been great to have Shiva here, but Steve, you're here. Sajay isn't here. I just want to highlight that we had work planned for Shiva's team. Here you can see like the 516 one and the registry auth 512 and the generate JW signature 530. We are waiting for additional development bandwidth. The bandwidth that we got from Kim on the plugin implementation, that was great, but like some of this work is lagging behind and it will be blocking a lot of other work. So Steve, do you have any input on that?
Not, I mean, this is where we're ramping Feynman up to actually be able to answer those with more clarity than I can. So not yet.
Yeah.
And because I've been
Okay.
out for the last 2 weeks, I can't answer to what happened.
I guess
Okay,
what I'm
help.
looking for is from Shiva's team, at least Shiva's availability for implementation or somebody from his team for implementation.
Can anyone help to highlight the subtask in this spreadsheet? In this way, I could help to inform Shuai's team and escalate the implementation.
So on the spreadsheet, like whatever is marked as owner for owner as Shiva, and you can skip the ones. So we have, you see this kind of the bold, those are tracks. So under spec, we have a couple of items for Shiva. I'm assuming Shiva will drive that. But for the under signing, you can see 2 items under Shiva.
Yeah.
Those need, yeah, those can be picked up by anybody on Shiva's team.
All right. So anything else?
No, I think that like this is it. Like for example, we put the start dates here. We are past the start date. I don't think we started any work on these yet. So like the overall RC dates, RC1 dates will keep on slipping till we put additional bandwidth on these.
So currently, Shiwei is saying the registry auth is work in progress, and the JWS one is not started yet.
Okay. All right.
Actually, one last thing on the spreadsheet, line number 14. It is about optimizing the verification workflow by moving the signature to the manifest file. We wanted to check if this can be moved to post RC1, since this is an optimization task, and I don't think we have allocated any effort for this.
Sorry, which one was that?
This was putting signature in the manifest to optimize verification latency. So it comes down.
Oh, so move it to annotations, I think. So yeah, that one could definitely move.
Okay.
Nobody's working on that right now. In fact, we don't even have a finalized design. The closest we got was Justin was looking at some stuff, and I talked to him briefly at DockerCon, but basically the pressure was like, if we're making progress, we need to land it in RC1, and I don't think we are right now. So unless and I don't think anybody wants to shift a couple of weeks out, I would say we
postpone it because that doesn't break anything by adding it later.
All right, sounds good. Cool. Let me see what else we had on the list. I think we're towards the end. Okay. I think on the overall project planning perspective, I kind of reiterating, Steve, we are looking for help from you on some of these spec items assigned to you, and then
Understood.
from Shiva and Shiva's team for things that we assign.
That's fair. I mean, just like Shiwei's priority is all this work. So there was a lot on his plate and he's been really busy, and he's also trying to grow a team. So I know that that's where he's spending some of his time, is making sure he can bring new people in so we can scale better. But
yeah, I think like for example, I had the code review ask, right? Even if we have members from his team picking up pull request reviews, that would be a great way to get them started.
Yep.
getting familiar with the space.
I think the problem is he hasn't even hired some of the people yet. Like, we have a couple, but he has a much larger team he's trying to grow. So I think he's actually working on recruiting,
Cool.
not just training. And I think there was some holidays in Shanghai that also had some delays, if I remember right. But so the real answer to your question is yes, Shiwei is working on the stuff. But the better answer to how we're going to scale this communication is Feynman is new to our team. He's not new to the space. So we have our first one-on-one like tomorrow because we missed it yesterday. So he's going to be the more day-to-day person that's going to help with all these questions.
Cool, sounds good. It's basically we need like we're basically lacking the implementers and like developers bandwidth. That's what I'm trying to get more, because we are like bang in middle of the implementation now.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. The last item is CI/CD and release process. Rakesh.
Yeah. So my team has not much experience in CI/CD on GitHub. That's why one of my PRs broke the build process. So I'm trying to understand how this whole thing happens from GitHub Actions to the release process. I was wondering if anybody who has experience in this area can give a demo and document the process so that me and also any other engineers from my team can benefit from.
What CSD tool do we want to use? Just GitHub Actions?
Yeah, so we don't have much experience working with those processes. So if somebody can give a demo on how everything works from start to end, like code push to a release process, then yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to help with the CI/CD process since I have a little bit experience with this process, and it depends on our goal. So I would like to know more about the specific goal if we want to implement the CI/CD workflow for our Git repository. Can anyone give me?
I think.
So
Sorry to clarify. I think what we are looking for is Shiva set up the CI process, which is how all the PR merges, etc., build stuff, run tests, all of that, and the release process too, on how we cut releases. I think we are looking for either Shiva or somebody else who's familiar with what is currently in CLI and Notation Go to demo that. And I think everybody will benefit from understanding what is the current process. We'll also get a good look at what is lacking in that process. Like, are we running unit tests everywhere, etc.? What is the place where we'll run integration tests, all of that. So I think the ask right now is we want kind of a demo to be set up, and I think probably Shiva is the best person to do that.
Yeah, David, his hands up.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's pretty clear that we want GitHub Actions as the orchestrator. I think the the baseline, obviously running unit tests for all of them that we have, and then at least a plan with the end-to-end tests on the notation CLI. I think that was on the last meeting we had last week on Thursday. I think that's what we talked about for the release for RC. It was important because that CLI, the automated tests for the notation CLI with the key workflows and executing those upon merge would be the essential baseline for the testing. I think the question comes into, where do we want to run that? If it's the core notation CLI, that's probably makes sense, but just making sure we're all on the same page. And then secondarily would be what is the actual test framework we want to utilize to do the end-to-end tests for the notation CLI. So those, those are all decisions to be made. But yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the intent was also, I was hoping if Shiva was there for today's meeting and we had some time, we would run through some of it. I think I don't think he'll be able to attend the Thursday meeting. Then we'll try to get some demo on Monday. Does that work?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know what his bandwidth is like to write the test framework, but I do think what would be reasonable is to get a rough plan together of like, hey, we were thinking we would use this end-to-end test tool. Here's like a rough, essential maybe notation CLI commands we want to try and shoot for. Maybe that's a more realistic goal, and that.
Yeah, I agree with David. At least we should have a clear goal for which framework, testing framework to use, or how to include those CSV stage for our initial goals. I think the implementation or the first demo is not quite hard. At least we should have those clear goals for which things we need to include.
David, I don't think this is about the testing framework or what tests we are going to include, but this is more about how the end-to-end CI/CD process happens. Like we don't have a good understanding of GitHub Actions, how that builds the code and then runs the integration tests and then passes over to the release process. And also currently we are in the middle of releasing a version, right? I don't have a good understanding of what exactly we are doing as part of that release process. So the ask here is if someone can give a demo on how this whole thing happens. It is just for knowledge purpose.
Yeah, we're just looking for a walkthrough of what is currently implemented.
Okay.
Okay, I see.
So Rakesh,
yeah, go ahead.
I think Sylvia set it up, so she might have bandwidth.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's very minimal what's there. It like the notation CLI, it just does a build, and that's it. So
that's fine. I mean,
but yeah, I mean, just showing you how a release happens, and then showing you what the CI looks like, and explaining GitHub Actions to you. Sure, but I mean, you could do that now even if you wanted, but yeah. I think the harder thing in my mind is to what are we going to decide on to move forward to improve things? Because I mean, obviously, just only doing a build and then cutting a release and that's it is not enough.
Right. And again, I think I'm looking for owners there. Like for example, I'm quite deep in spec work and unblocking technical tracks. Rakesh, Pritesh are busy in implementation. I'm looking for additional help here from folks who have worked on other GitHub projects to kind of replicate whatever processes they have.
Mhm.
So basically I'm looking like, yes, we have CI/CD and release process kind of lacking in terms of we just set up minimal and there needs to be a better end state, but I'm looking for additional owners to drive these tracks.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And so I think that just the question that it seems like I don't know, keep bouncing on is if you want a demo of kind of what we have today and how GitHub Actions works.
Yeah.
And versus like, what is a good plan? Where are we moving? What would be good to help be comprehensive? And those are two separate things. So
yes. So I think the demo kind of gets everybody on the same page. Let's just take an inventory of where we are. I think what you're saying is it is super minimal. Can we cover that? I think we could cover that in Thursday's meeting. Would that work?
sure, yeah. I know we're 2 minutes of time. So yeah, we could cover where we're at and
Okay, sounds good.
Just don't forget for Thursday, the Shanghai folks won't be able to attend or Beijing either. Just doesn't work for them for timing. So David, if we can cover, that's great.
yeah, so I can cover where we're at right now. No problem. I mean, we're going to cut the release. We basically cut the release right now on the phone or on the call. And I could explain the GitHub Actions and answer how that works and what's working today.
Oh, you mean you want to do it now because we'll be cutting the release now?
I mean, if we want, I mean, I can explain what's happening. Yeah. If you want, I mean, we're a minute left, but I could do it right now if you want. I can share my screen and you could see.
Rakesh, we can spend 15 minutes. I think if there are other like questions or we need to drill through something, we could cover it on Thursday. I'm open.
Yeah.
Again, it's based on everybody's availability. David, if you're available, yeah, we can cover another 15 minutes or so.
Okay. All right. Sure. Yeah, I'll just share my screen now.
Before we get into this is the last item on the agenda, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to discuss?
At least what we had on the list. This is the last item. Did anybody else have anything else to cover?
I had a few things to tell Steve as to what we need to adjust from a roadmap perspective. Steve, two of those things are, one is digest to tag mapping. We had thought about making things easy. It's currently showing up in RC1. I don't think so. We'll should plan for that for RC1. So that's one thing we wanted to move out.
What do you mean digested tag mapping?
Today, we are referring to the images by the digest, not by the tag. So we created a roadmap item to say, hey, should we provide a command in notation whereby we will automatically convert from tag to digest during the sign and verify process. So customers don't have to do that lookup on their own. It was a roadmap item we added for RC1. Let me share.
So the code today already does tag to digest.
Okay, maybe that's one of the things we are saying, like there's some confusion as to what's available right now.
I think the context around this is, yes, the code is doing tags. There are some security implications to directly using tags at least in the signing workflow currently. I think that's where kind of clarifying in the CLI spec, that would be a starting point for that conversation. We could take this up on Thursday.
Yep, we can do this Thursday then. Thank you, David.
So do you want me to go ahead and share real quick? And yeah, are we ready?
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, if you're not interested in this, I mean, people can drop off if you want. I mean, just okay. So should see my screen now. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so this is the README I just added while I was on the call, but this gives you an idea of what we have in place for GitHub Actions. So you can see right here, there is a build that's in place. Somebody needs to actually approve this to try and move forward to merge. So on GitHub, you can have a number of different criteria that's there in place before you merge PRs or any other criteria you want. But in this case, you know, we have this one continuous integration build, and that is represented by a YAML file. And that YAML file is at the root. So GitHub Actions follows a standard connotation where you use .github as the root folder and then workflows. And so this build.yaml file is the actual continuous integration. And as you can see here, the only thing this really does is it gets go, sets up, pulls down the dependencies, and then just runs the build. And so if it doesn't build the binary, then that's it. That's all we're really testing for PRs and the current process. So if any, you know, for instance, if any of the commands actually don't work, we have no idea in its current state. So that's the entirety of our CI part. I guess I'll pause there. Any questions on that?
I guess I'm assuming we have similar thing for notation Go. I'll check that right now. And I was curious if we have been adding unit tests on notation Go.
I would have to look. I think we do have some, but I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, so yeah, but I mean, just in general, the GitHub, I know I'm giving you a very quick brief.
Yeah,
any questions on GitHub Actions and just the general topic of that and what we have today with that before I go to release?
So if you have so it's by convention, the workflows build.yaml automatically is correlated with a CI workflow.
Yeah, it checks this folder for the YAML files, and then based on what you put in this syntax. So here it says on push and on pull request is how often this runs. And you can see this also in actions. So here you have, right, the build, all the different times that particular action was run.
Okay.
So this is the other place where you can kind of see, you know, things that have been run with that particular build, but it's all controlled right via that. So I'm also just seeing this, what this is, golang.yaml.
Is it possible to run this locally before raising a PR?
Yeah, so there's not like a run GitHub Actions locally type of thing out of the box. Really what you would have to do is, this comes back to partially the documentation, right? But people can do that locally because all this is really doing is the commands that are there in that YAML file. So right, I mean, make, download, make, build is how somebody would test this locally.
I guess you can fork and probably replicate the same workflow, make changes to the workflow, run it in your fork.
Yeah,
to test
yeah,
it.
you could definitely do it in your own repo if you wanted. Yeah, I mean that's totally possible. I mean, ideally though, for you really want this to test everything in a PR type mode as well. But yeah, you could. So yeah, and the release is pretty, I mean, it's actually, we have the actual Go releaser, and that it makes it quite easy to do a release. That's, what Steve did is he just, while we were on the call, he just created a new tag And with that tag, it was already, automatically, the Go releaser behind the scenes went and added all of this automatically. So it just generated all of this in the releases by simply adding a tag. And you could see that here in, I think it's this one. This is it. So I'll have to look into what this one is, but okay. So we may have something where we have to look into the releaser. Let's see. So you run Go releaser, and this generates everything. So I'm curious. It looks like we do have something when we bumped maybe the release version. Yeah, that's too long ago. We created the release, but it looks like there is some other problem here. So we might need to look at that. Let's see. Now let's see if the release actually has the binaries on it. Yeah. So we have so this is in flight here learning. We have the binaries are generally generated, but that's what failed. So the release did all this bit to push the release, but it looks like it had a problem in generating the binaries to push to the release. So we shouldn't have to do anything, but that's something that we need to look at now. What's going on there? Because if we look at the other releases, the binaries get automatically generated for the different frameworks.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I can take a look and see what happened there, because it really should just, it looks like this one didn't generate either, but maybe you did a different mechanism on this, Steve. Did you manually do the feat KV extensibility one? Or you're not sure? It was so long ago. I think Steve left. Okay. So yeah, so that's really, I mean, I'll figure out why the assets didn't auto-generate. Looks like that build task failed, and maybe that has something to do with our releaser action or something. Or the CLI maybe is what's bombing it out. I don't know, but we'll have to figure that out. But that's it for the release. I mean, you tag it, and then it just does its thing with that GitHub action behind the scene, and then that's it.
Got it. So the Go releaser package is doing bulk of the heavy lift.
Yeah, exactly. You just create a new tag, and it automatically picks that up. So I'll show you the code for that. That should be in here in the release GitHub. Yeah. So here, see it picks up on push tags v dash. So when you do a new tag that has v anything, that's when it'll fire off this thing to kick off a release with that.
Okay.
And it might be, and I don't know. I'm just looking at this off the top of my head. It might be, I think we moved to Go 118, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with it, but we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like some of the newer changes were reliant on generics, I think. I don't know where we ended up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it might be a Go version thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that out real quick, because that's all it is. Because I'm just trying to think quickly, think off the top of my head here, because I think the errors we got here. think it looks like it's like, yeah, missing function, body, syntax. It's slices. Yeah, see, it's all in slices, and that's one of the new things in Go 118. So I bet you we bump that to 118, we might just fix the thing.
Cool.
I'm not quite sure how Go releaser is including certain commits in a release. So you said we need to create a new tag and the Go releaser kicks in, right?
Mhm.
How is it figuring out what commits to include?
Because the tag, so by nature, when you tag, you're tagging a specific commit in the branch. So you associate a tag with a version in the source code.
I
That's
see.
how-
So we need to go to individual commits and then tag. I see.
Well, yeah. So if you go to tag, like, okay, like if I were to create a new one, just I won't create a new tag, but you'll kind of get the idea. So if I go to draft a new release, and then I'll choose a tag, right? So I'll put whatever name I want here, and then I'll target, I can choose branch, and then usually what you do, right, is you just choose main, and it'll pick the latest commit on main, and then that's how the tag is associated with the commit.
The delta is probably the last tag, the difference in commits between the last tag and your new tag.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it does that nicely in the Go releaser automatically, right? You can see here it says full change log, and then it gives you the comparison between the two tags, and that just auto generates as part of the releaser.
I see. It makes sense.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome too. Otherwise, you have to manually do this.
Mhm.
Figure out generate the change log.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I think at least for us to cut 090 alpha 1, I mean, technically it's already there, but we don't have the README, which I have the 1PR. And then I need to, looks like, fix the releaser YAML file so that it pushes the binaries to the release. And then I think we're done. Okay. We good? Any other questions or?
Yeah. No other questions from me.
Okay.
No, this was helpful, David. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I think now it's just more of a what are we doing moving forward? So that we'll let Finman kind of put some thoughts together on that for end-to-end testing and framework and things like that. So
Yeah, I think I added doc to demonstrate how the the CI and the automated testing in our GitHub Actions works.
Well, so I just showed how it works. So it would be, I think now we've kind of covered that from this chat. Now it's the other latter half, which is what's the like a rough recommendation or plan of, let's say, end-to-end tests, and what framework we want to use to integrate with GitHub Actions, to make this have more confidence in releasing changes to notation, right?
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I think this topic we have discussed before.
Yes, you and I, yeah. Yep. Sounds good. All right. Okay, everybody.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye.
Thanks. I updated the meeting minutes. Thanks.